In 1979, Northrop began studies for a low observable strategic bomber. These studies would eventually result in the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. However, in the early days, both the aircraft configuration and mission were up for grabs. Let's learn about one of these studies today. Introducing the Northrop Low Altitude Penetrator. Coming up next on the Stealth Channel. Two basic mission profiles were studied. One mission profile was high-altitude penetration, which was less safe from a defensive standpoint. High-altitude penetration allowed a much more efficient aircraft, and resulted in the genesis of the B-2's longspan flying wing. The other mission profile was low-altitude penetration. Low-altitude penetration resulted in a less efficient aircraft with a much higher wing loading. The low-altitude penetrator that Northrop examined was something between a flying wing and a lifting body. It would fly at high speed, but only at an altitude of 250 feet or less, much like an enormous cruise missile. As a result, it needed to be minimally visible to detection systems in aircraft positioned above it. Thus, the upper surface of the aircraft was largely featureless with the exception of the cockpit. The underside featured both a flush inlet and engine exhaust in a flattened configuration, as well as two inward-canted vertical stabilizers. Wing loading meant that the aircraft would need an airspeed of 200 knots for takeoff, consuming nearly 8,000 feet of runway. Total onboard fuel load would be 137,500 pounds and would require a few refuelings for each mission. In the end, the high-altitude penetrator flying wing was chosen and modified to the low-altitude penetrator role. This would result in the final design for the B-2 Spirit. We hope you enjoyed learning about this little-known stealth bomber study. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment to help this channel grow, and thanks for watching.